What is going on, everybody? What is going on, the Catch fam? My name is John Dawson, and in today's video, we are continuing my series of our top 20 quarterbacks heading into the 2022 fantasy football season. In today's video, we are going through quarterbacks number 6 through 10. Part 1 of the quarterback ranking series will be linked down below. That'll go over quarterbacks 1 through 5 if you guys want to check that out. Then we will be finishing off the series with quarterbacks 11 through 20. As always, if you guys enjoyed today's content, be sure to hit that like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and feel free to drop any comments, questions, concerns pertaining to the 2022 fantasy football season down below. Without further ado, let's hop right into today's content. All right, number 6 overall, I've got Jalen Hurts, and this is a bit of a controversial pick, some might say, but overall, I do want to make a note before we hop into Jalen Hurts that really, for me, number 6 and number 7 overall, Jalen Hurts and Joe Burrow are essentially tied for me at the end of the day, right? I think that Hurts is going to offer far more rushing upside, and then Joe Burrow is that more pocket quarterback who's really going to offer upside from just throwing the rock all over the place. So I would make a note that if you are more inclined to go out and draft a QB who has rushing upside overall, then I think you should go towards Jalen Hurts. If you are more inclined to go over a passing quarterback who sits in the pocket primarily, then I think you should go after Joe Burrow. But we'll touch a little bit more on Burrow here in a second. Overall, at the end of the day, you guys know that I have been tooting the horn for Jalen Hurts all off season long. He is a QB that I just feel really good about heading into the 2022 fantasy football season. Came in as QB 9 overall last season, but don't forget, he was a top 3 quarterback in fantasy football up until week 11 last season. Then he had that slump against the New York Giants in week 12. Then he missed week 13 and had a bye week. Those couple weeks in conjunction really hurt his overall rankings, but he was on absolute fire from a pure fantasy perspective last season. And I think he's going to have an even better junior season overall. You add AJ Brown to this offense, it's really going to open up things for this offense as a whole in my mind. I love this receiving core with Devonta Smith as a wide receiver too. I'm all about Dallas Goedert at the tight end position. We know that this team is capable of running the rock as well. I think that the offense is in a good place. And like I said, I just think after what Jalen Hurts did at the beginning of the fantasy football season 2021, there's no reason to doubt him moving into 2022. And I have a lot of personal conviction in Jalen Hurts. And like I said, if you go for that rushing upside, he is definitely a quarterback to keep in mind. Overall last season, 432 passing attempts, 265 completions, just over 3,100 passing yards, 16 passing touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. Don't get me wrong, guys. Those numbers aren't phenomenal, but when we get to the rushing game, 139 rushing attempts, 784 rushing yards, and 10 rushing touchdowns, I think he can easily improve on all of those numbers, especially the passing game overall. The rushing game, it is going to be a little bit difficult to really overcome those numbers. He was phenomenal on the ground last season, and I love him heading into the 2022 fantasy football season. All right, number 7 overall, we've got the man that I am repping today. We've got Joe Shiesty on the list, who came in as QB 7 overall last season. 520 passing attempts, 366 completions, just over 4,600 passing yards, 34 touchdowns to 14 interceptions. A great year through the air overall. Added 118 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns, so not a ton of rushing upside, obviously. So like I said, if you are looking for a pure pocket quarterback who I think is ready to obviously take another huge leap in his junior year, obviously a big leap from his rookie season where he did only play 10 games to his sophomore season as a whole, not only from a fantasy perspective, but from a real life football perspective, of course, heading to the Super Bowl and leading his team to an AFC championship last season as well. Listen, you revamped this offensive line completely in the offseason, and what else do you really need to do? You've got Joe Mixon at the running back position. Samaje Perine is a very capable RB2 behind him. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. Come on, guys. Is there a better wide receiver trio in the NFL? I don't know if it's even close. And I love the addition of Hayden Hurst at tight end. I've been talking about Hayden Hurst all off season long as a potential sleeper at the tight end position. And I just think that there's no denying that out of everyone on today's list, Joe Burrow could easily move up and finish in the top 5 heading into 2022. There's not a lot to say. He looked phenomenal last season. I think at the moment where you can snag him, he's coming in at an ADP of 52.5. This is a quarterback that you can go out and target in fantasy drafts and even target Jamar Chase alongside with him for a very nice stack. Overall, Burrow at the moment, in my eyes, is in line for a huge 2022 fantasy football season. Number 8 overall, we got the GOAT himself. We've got QB 12, Tom Brady. And listen, guys, I get it. This is relatively disrespectful to Tom Brady. And really, when we look at what he did last fantasy season, coming in as QB3, oh, I mean, how? Year after year, the man just does not give. And he had one of his best passing seasons of all time last year. As a matter of fact, he threw for the most passing yards in his entire career. There's just nobody else to ever play the position like Tom Brady, and there's no reason to continue doubting him at the moment, coming in at an ADP of 89.7 through the Sleeper app. Tom Brady is going to be a steal heading into the 2022 fantasy football season. Like I said, QB number 3 last season, 719 passing attempts, 485 passing completions. Like I said, just over 5,300 passing yards, 43 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. Guys, 43 touchdowns last year for Tom Brady. I just want to make that clear that once again, that is an all-time career high for Tom Brady. 12 interceptions last season, and he added 2 rushing touchdowns, which is pretty nice as well. Listen, guys, don't doubt Tom Brady. It's that simple. Last offseason, all offseason, so many people were doubting him and probably had him right around this ranking, if not a little bit further back. Listen, guys, I mean, like I just said, Joe Burrow could easily move into the top 5 at the end of 2022. I would not be surprised once again if Brady finishes in the top 5. I won't be surprised if he's QB3 in 2022 as well. This offense still looks good. You're going to miss Chris Godwin for a couple of weeks more than likely, but you get Leonard Fournette back. You've got Gio Bernard as an RB2. You go out and you draft Rachaad White as a very good looking running back room. Mike Evans obviously still hanging around. Like I said, Godwin's going to miss a little bit of time, but Russell Gage is a great offseason acquisition who Tom Brady has been very, very expressive about in the offseason. You've still got guys like Brashad Perryman hanging around, Tyler Johnson, Scotty Miller. So it's still a very good looking offense as a whole. Cameron Brate's at the tight end position, of course. And then who knows? Gronk might be back. He might not be back. He might be back halfway through the season or come playoff time. We'll find out at some point. Overall, man, I don't know if it really matters who else is on this offense. Obviously, there's a head coaching change. Bruce Arians no longer running the ship, but I don't think it's going to matter whatsoever. Listen, simply put, don't doubt Tom Brady. We do it every single year. We keep saying and saying this is the year. He is an old man, whatever it might be. Don't doubt Brady heading into 2022. All right, number 9 overall, we've got Russell Wilson with a big change of scenery. Obviously traded from the Seattle Seahawks to the Denver Broncos in the offseason. I love this change of scenery for Russell Wilson. I do think that Nathaniel Hackett and company are really going to let Russell Wilson step in and be a true QB1. Let him run this ship. I think it's going to be a very, very good change of scenery overall for Russell Wilson. Last season, played through 14 games, 400 passing attempts, 259 completions, just over 3,100 passing yards, 25 touchdowns to 6 interceptions, and added 183 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. But like I said, he only played in 14 games last season. All indications point that he is currently healthy. I think he's going to have a very good year overall. I think he's a candidate for MVP, an early candidate that is. I think he's going to be in a great position. I think that this offense is going to look extremely different, obviously, with him at the helm. You've still got Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon at the running back position, a beautiful running back room. You got Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, Cortland Sutton, Tim Patrick. Gosh, this is a really nice receiving room that I really think that Russell Wilson will have the capability to bring the best out of. And overall, I like the tight end position with Albert O hanging around as well, even if I can't pronounce his last name. Listen, guys, I think it's just a great situation for Russell Wilson. We know what he's capable of at the quarterback position when fully healthy. So I think that all indications are leaning towards a fantastic 2022 fantasy football season for Russell Wilson. All right, last on today's list, we've got Dak Prescott coming in as QB 10 overall. Last season came in as QB 8 in all scoring formats. Overall, 596 passing attempts. That was tied for a career high. 420 completions, just over 4,400 passing yards, his second most all time. His most touchdowns in a single season, his most passing touchdowns, that is, with 37 passing touchdowns to 10 interceptions, added 146 rushing yards and 1 touchdown. Obviously dealing with some lingering injuries from previously before, but at the end of the day, man, I really don't understand the disrespect from a fantasy perspective towards Dak Prescott heading into 2022, as well as towards a lot of the Cowboys players who, I mean, listen, this was an offense people were going crazy about heading into 2021. For me, really the only difference is you lose Amari Cooper. You also lose Ced Wilson to the Miami Dolphins, but at the same time, this receiving room still looks very good. I think that CeeDee Lamb is perfectly capable as playing as a wide receiver 1. Michael Gallup is a phenomenal wide receiver 2, and I love the addition of James Washington at the wide receiver 3 position. Dalton Schultz had a very, very good season last year, and I think he's in line for another very productive season. Has some great chemistry with Prescott, especially in the red zone. In the running back room, obviously you've got Zeke and Pollard, so I get it. The offensive line needs some work. They addressed some of that in the draft, but overall, this is an offense to still be very bullish on heading into 2022. We are getting some reports that the Cowboys would like Prescott to be a little bit more mobile like he was before 2020, dealing with all those injuries, and I do think that that could help some of his fantasy outlook. But at the end of the day, when we look at what he did from a passing perspective last season, he had a very good year. I get that he had some down games throughout the year, but overall, like I said, QB 8 last season, there's no reason in my eyes why he should be outside of the top 10 heading into the 2022 fantasy football season. And that'll do it for today's video. If you did enjoy today's content, be sure to hit that like button down below. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Really does help us out when you guys subscribe to the channel, and we give out free daily fantasy football content. At the moment, we are running a free subscriber mock draft almost every single night here at the Catch. So make sure to hop on our Discord as well to get updates on when we are drafting, as well as our invite leaks. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and check out all of our links below, guys. And be sure to drop a comment with what you thought overall of my rankings going through quarterbacks number 6 through 10. Like I said, QBs 1 through 5 will be linked down below, and be on the lookout for our remaining quarterbacks rankings coming out within the next coming days. And with that, I'll say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening, and remember, you saw it here on The Catch.